Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. So today, y'all, I have a savory dish for you. We're going to be making a one pot chicken, rice, and beans, and I also added some meat to it and some veggies. We're going to be cooking all of this in one pot. This dish right here is so flavorful. We're going to be using a whole lot of fresh ingredients, and your taste buds would love this one. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into today's video. Okay, friends, so we are going to be using some chicken. Now, here I am using one Cornish hen. I really like the taste of this and the texture and everything. It's just so delicious. It's not so meaty. But if you don't have this, you could go ahead and use chicken thighs. That's a good cut for this recipe as well. So as you can see, I just went ahead and cut my Cornish hen in the middle because it's small. Cut it in the middle, and I washed it really good with water and distilled white vinegar. And now I'm just going in with some salt and also going in with some black pepper. And I just go ahead and just rub that all into the chicken. Now don't worry, I know you're gonna be like, man, so this is not seasoned enough. Don't you worry, the best part is coming up, the marinade. I always have my marinades prepared ahead of time. So this right here consists of fresh red bell peppers, fresh green bell peppers. It also contains fresh spring onions, fresh garlic, a little bit of ginger, fresh habanero or chili peppers, and some chicken or beef bouillon, and all blended together. This right here is so good. Fresh ingredients, guys. I cannot emphasize this. You need fresh ingredients. If you use fresh ingredients, you're gonna get maximum results. Trust me on that one, okay? We learn how to cook all of these meals, from our moms and our grandmothers, and y'all know they don't even measure. They just eyeball it and just wait for the ancestors to tell them when to stop, okay? But for the purpose of this video, I went ahead and measured every single thing so that you guys can be able to replicate this in your houses and preferably get something very similar to mine. I want you all to really enjoy this. As you can see, I rub this marinade all over the chicken. It is really important. If you can find any nooks and crannies, go in there and just rub this marinade all over it. And now I am going to put it aside. I usually do this in the morning before I get ready to cook in like the afternoon. You can also do this overnight and just let it sit. Okay, now next we're going to be using some black-eyed peas. Of course, this is a rice and beans recipe, so here I am using 1 pound pack of black-eyed peas. I just got this from Walmart. You could get this anywhere. So this is an equivalent of 2 and maybe 1/3 cups of black-eyed peas. Now what I'm going to do is wash it really good and then soak it in water for at least an hour. That's what I'm going to do. And then this is the rice I use. I like to show you guys the exact things I'm using because different types of rice cook differently. I like jasmine rice, and I like this particular jasmine rice. I get it from Walmart. It's in this yellow bag, and it is so good. I am using 4 cups of rice, uncooked rice. Now, I also like to add meat. Yes, I know some of y'all are like, man, some meat and chicken. Trust me, they all bring different flavors into the pot, and oh, you can't go wrong. So over here I have about 1.5 pounds, almost 2 pounds of meat. Now you can use lamb. I'm using lamb. You could use lamb. You could use beef. You could even use goat meat, whatever you have, okay? And this is really good, and it's bone in. Bone in, I prefer the bone in because, that bone makes really good broth. Now I just went in with some black pepper and also some salt. That's all I'm going to be putting here. You don't need too much. Meat is already tasty on its own, and you're going to see why. Now over to our fresh ingredients. I've already emphasized this so many times. You're going to be needing some green bell peppers, the whole thing. And that's optional, but I'm using some hot peppers, the habanero, and also the jalapeno peppers. They bring different flavors to the pot. You're going to need lots of fresh peeled garlic. Just 1 onion, because we're not really making a stew. You need 1 onion for that good broth, and that is more of my homemade seasoning, just the same ingredients that I listed earlier. And I'm also going to be adding some veggies to it, but this will come later. You're also going to be needing some fresh spring onions or scallions. So in here in my blender, I got my scallions. I got some of that homemade marinade. I got the habanero and half of the jalapeno peppers. and the onion. That's what I have in there. And now, y'all, let me tell you, look at this pot. It might not look so cute, but let me tell you, when you see this pot on my stove, just know that girl is about to go down on some homemade meals. This caldero does the job, okay? Now, here you would need some vegetable or canola oil. You would need about a cup of that, and you want it to get really hot before we add our chicken in there. You want to fry this chicken to be not just golden brown. You want this to be really nicely brown because it's going to get back into the broth. So you want to have that beautiful color as you guys saw in the intro of this video. So I'll let mine cook for about 6 minutes, and now I'm flipping it. You might think it's burnt, but trust me, it is not burnt. It is just the perfect texture that I like. So you let it cook on the other side for an additional maybe 4 minutes, depending on how thick your cuts are. And now I'm going to take it out of the oil. As you can see, that oil is looking a little bit dark, but do not worry and do not strain it. You need all of it. Next step is to add our meat into this hot oil, okay? This meat is going to get in here, and do not, just be patient, okay? Just be patient and let this meat cook. Already that oil is full of flavors already from the chicken and all of that. Now we're going to introduce more flavors to this oil. Like I said, we're cooking this whole entire meal in one pot. Now, bay leaves are so important, and I like this particular brand. It's organic, so it's very potent and strong, so I love it. I use about 3 leaves, and this will also infuse a whole lot of flavors into the meat. Now here, I saved half of the onion, so it was that same onion. I only blended half of it, and the other half I chopped it up with half of the jalapeno peppers, and I'm adding it to this hot oil while the meat is still frying. Y'all, look, if you want a good homemade meal, don't rush it, okay? Don't rush. At least that is how we were taught to cook. And y'all, when I tell you this was already smelling so good. This is where you can make or break this recipe, trust me. Now I'm going in with a little bit of diced tomatoes. This is just about half a cup of diced tomatoes. I am adding it in there, and I will just continue to cook the meat in this. And I am cooking on medium high heat. You don't want it to, you want to cook on some sort of high heat because you don't want the meat to be bringing out a whole lot of juices. You want it to actually fry, and this will also reduce a lot of the cooking time when we eventually get to cooking the rice. So I'll let this cook while stirring it consistently for about 10 minutes or so. And as you can see, the onions are beginning to caramelize. This is exactly what we want. The onions and the peppers and the tomatoes are beginning to caramelize. Now we're not done yet. We want to keep doing it. And why I'm doing this is to build that rich dark brown color at the end. Now to enhance the dark brown color at the end, I am going to use some dark soy sauce, okay? I went in with about 2 tablespoons of dark soy sauce and just kept on doing it. So this will look like you're making some Jamaican jerk stew or something. That is the look I'm going for. You want it to be like a dark, rich consistency. So that's all I'm doing. And then if you realize that it's beginning to like stick on the bottom of the pot a little bit, all you need to do is just add a little splash of water. That would get the bottom of the pot to soften up, and it would just you can see the difference. Once you hit it with that little bit of water, the caramelized onions will just begin to melt in the pot. And y'all, can we just take a moment for this? It looks so good, and it actually smells so good, and we're not even done. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, please give your girl a thumbs up. It really helps me out, and it helps more people to get a hold of this video and enjoy what we're doing over here on the Mansa team. Now, this is my blended ingredients. I'm gonna use like 3/4 of it and save just a little bit at the end. So put it in there. And the reason why I'm just adding it now, I did not want it to get to lose all of the potency from the fresh ingredients, especially the garlic. You don't want to have burnt garlic. So I like to add it now that I have already caramelized the onions really good, and I have already achieved this dark color. So now my blended fresh ingredients can still cook, and I am not going to compromise on it. Now this is what it looks like after like 20 to 25 minutes of just frying away. And by this time, I actually am cooking on medium heat because I don't want my, my fresh ingredients to burn, like I said. So now this is the perfect time to now add water, because remember, we got to make broth to be able to cook the rice in it. So now I am going in with 6 cups of water. Remember, I am using 4 cups of uncooked rice and 2 cups of uncooked black eyed peas. So I'm using 6 cups of water, and it's because of the rice I'm using. Now, if you're using a different type of rice, please try and gauge it, because I don't really know how to help you, because different rice cook different. But Jasmine rice 1-to-1 ratio works best for Jasmine rice, hands down. So now once I bring it to a boil, it is time to add in my veggies. Now, this is optional if you don't want veggies, but yo, this is a trick. My grandma used to take like a skewer or a toothpick and just pierce it into the cut cabbage. This helps the cabbage cook and not, disintegrate in your pot. This is a cool trick, and I use it today. Then you go ahead and add in your carrots. Now, it depends on how you like your veggies, okay? I don't like mine overcooked, so I'm going to cook it like halfway. And now you want to reintroduce this chicken right here. That's what I was talking about. You want to add this chicken back into the stock and let it finish cooking up, okay? It's not going to be there for long, but you need to let it get cooked in there, and it will reintroduce its own flavors back into the pot. So now it is time to cover this pot. As you can see, I did not add any salt yet, because it already has some salt in the seasonings and the soy sauce, okay? So now this is my rice. I have already washed it thoroughly until the water runs clear. 4 cups of rice, and now I'm going to put it in my microwave to pre-cook it. Now, just the washed rice, it's still wet, don't worry about it. Just put it in your microwave, cover it, and pop it in there for 5 minutes. Once this gets out of the microwave, it's going to be like 40% cooked, okay? That's always a good trick. Now, this has already come to a boil again, and now I am adding my beans, okay? You want the beans and the rice to cook, to be done at the same time. And the beans obviously is going to take a longer time than the rice, because I've already pre-cooked the rice, remember? So that's why I am putting in the beans now, okay? My veggies are still a little bit more crunchy than I want. So as you can see, I'm still letting them cook in there for an additional 10 minutes, and I will come back to check on it. So my chicken is finally done the way I want it. So I'm going to get it out of the pot, because it's not going to stay in there, because we still got to cook the rice. So that's just me taking out the chicken, and right about that time, my veggies were also done to the way I like it. If you like yours more tender, you can just go ahead and cook it a little bit longer. And now what you see me doing here is just taking out a little bit of the broth. This is always a safe thing for me to do. In case I have too much broth in there before I put in the rice, I like to bring it out, and it just adds a lot of flavors to the chicken as well. Now, as you can see, all I have left in this pot is the meat and the black eyed peas in the good broth. So now it is time to check the salt, and also I remember I had saved a little bit of the freshly blended ingredients, so I'm adding that with a little bit more of that marinade. And I also hit it up with some beef bouillon, because I needed to adjust my salt a little bit. But so just make sure you adjust your salt before you add the rice, because once you add the rice, I would not advise you to add more stuff, because it might get on some parts and not everything. So it's better to do it now that the rice is not there. So I bring it back to a boil, because you remember I just added some fresh ingredients. And now I checked it again, make sure that it cooked a little bit. So now I check my salt for the last time, and it was perfect. Now I went in and added 1 more bay leaf. Now this is optional. I just love the taste that this bay leaf and the aroma. It's so good. So I love it. Now I'm going in there with the pre-cooked rice, okay? So remember, I just hid this in the microwave for just 5 minutes with no water, just the water that was left there from washing it. And now I am cooking on like low to medium heat. Now I stir it in. If you put it in there and you realize that you have a little more liquid than you need, you can just go ahead and scoop it out now before it gets mushy. You do not want your rice to be mushy. I don't like my rice. When I cook this type of meal, I don't like it dry at all, but I also don't want it to be sticking and mushy and all of that. And Jasmine rice has a high rate of just getting mushy if you don't cook it right. That's why I use a 1-to-1 ratio. Now I cover it up without opening it at all for about 15 minutes. So as you can see, the rice has absorbed a lot of the water that was on the top. Now it is time to go in and turn everything together. You want to mix it. Make sure that you're going all the way under. Now, it's okay. Some of the rice is going to stick to the bottom of the pot, but guess what? That's what gives you that smoky, good flavor rice. That's what you're going to get, okay? Ask your African friends if you have any. That's what gives you that smoky flavor. It is so good, y'all. So once I make sure that everything is well incorporated, just to make sure that, you know, all of the grains of rice are going to be evenly cooked. So once I do this, I'm now going to cover it back up. And once I cover it up, I do not open it again because I want all of the steam trapped in there so that my rice is going to cook perfectly and evenly. So I closed it up, and this is 20 minutes later. And y'all, this is what we have. This is what we're working with. This looks so good. The rice is cooked. The meat is so perfectly cooked, right? It is tender. It is not falling apart, but it is so tender that once you bite into it, that's it. It is coming apart. It is so good. The beans, as you can see, it did not get mushy. It is cooked just right. Y'all, this recipe right here, I have been dying to bring this to you guys for so long, but most of the time I cook these during weekends. So I'm just rushing, I'm multitasking. But today I was like, you know what? I got to get this over to my friends on YouTube. Look at that. This is what it looks like. You can already tell. Tell me you're not hungry. This is so flavorful. It smells absolutely divine. And that is it. I'm going to plate it up to show you how I would enjoy it. Now, let me tell you. My American friends love this. My non-American friends love this. My non-African friends love this. Even my friends that are not from like the Gambia or Senegal, where I am from originally, they enjoy this recipe right here. This is a winner. This is a keeper. And all it uses is just simple ingredients that you can find in any grocery store. There's nothing hidden here. Everything is listed down below in the description box. If you're not a lover of veggies, you can skip it. Sometimes my granny even likes to add like a butternut squash to it and just, you know, cook it maybe halfway and bring it out just like I did with the other ingredients. But I do not like it, so I didn't add it in there. And I am going to take a taste test on your behalf. I know this was so painful to just record and send. I wish I could have like a smell or taste button on YouTube. Maybe one day, you never know. And look at the meat falling apart. It looks so good, so tender, so flavorful. And you cook all of this in one single pot and just follow the steps and the ingredients that are listed down below. Feel free to omit some if you don't want, but the key ones, you can't miss them. And this is the final result. I hope you guys really enjoyed this one pot chicken meat and pea recipe. It is so delicious. Let me also know if you want to see more savory dishes. I cook a lot of different things, y'all, not just cake. So let me see if you want to see more, and I'll bring it over to you. Thanks for watching. I love you all.